Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, hey, hey. Go ahead.
Here we go.
It was war about a week ago. They shot my man, I was with him about a week ago. In my city, round the city, we should stop that. Keep losing, trying to win with the get back. Don't you see where that gets us? Who's cooler? There's a body, there's a shooter. There's a man without a future, now his homies out to get ya. And the cycle just continues if we only just remember that we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Yeah, we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Now get your money, get success, and live a good life. Need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Get your money, get success, and live a good life. You need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Now won't you make peace, make something, won't you make?
Hey, DJ Dika, hallelujah, hallelujah. Did y'all hear that?
Hey.
Put the guns down. Go ahead, Miss Vicky. You right, go ahead.
Miss Vicky in the house. Hello, everybody. We gonna make peace.
Hello. Put your guns down. Get your mind right. Oh my. Jesus. How y'all doing? Pray and believe everybody's doing well. Yeah. Go ahead, Miss Vicky.
No, I'm fine. I was just getting ready to say hello again.
Okay.
I was going to say hello to our listeners. Everyone.
Go ahead. Say your speech. I mean, not your speech, but go ahead. Give your warm welcome to our listeners.
I was fine, DJ Dika. I think it's a delay where you don't know I'm getting ready to say something, so then it seems like you're waiting for me to say something. But I'm fine. I was just saying hello.
Oh, okay. Not a problem. So we pray. Well, bad, I can't even do it right now. Hello. We hope and pray. Believe and pray. That's what I usually say. That everybody's still staying home, staying safe. Did you notice, listeners, that I paused when I said staying home? Because, 4th of July just passed. And we know it was some angry folks because they couldn't go to their beach and celebrate, But, hey, at the end of the day, I'd rather be staying home and being alive, than, congregating.
I beg to differ about, I don't know who was complaining. Was it people talking about that on the news or something? Because there was a lot of people that celebrated yesterday still.
I understand. Wait, let me go back. See, we ain't even 5 minutes into the show, and we having a difference of opinion. That's why it's called tunnel vision. Okay. Listen.
Because we have two different experiences. That's why. Because I know there were people that celebrated yesterday. Quite a few.
Okay. Look, let me rephrase it. I was pinpointing that there was, let's say they closed down the beaches. That's my point I'm trying to make. They closed down the beaches. They done closed down the bars again because people are still congregating in crowds, and they shut it down for the 4th of July weekend. So I know there's some people that was quite, upset about beaches being closed. Also, but we do know that there probably was some people that still went. So I'm not even going to get involved in all that. That's all I was saying.
DJ Dika. DJ Dika, I'm not speaking on the bars. No, I'm not speaking on the bars. I'm just saying that didn't no closed beaches or parks stop anybody from celebrating. That's all I'm saying.
Yes,
they still celebrated. Whether those bars were closed, whether the beaches were closed, whether the parks, people still celebrated yesterday.
Okay, forgive me. I used the wrong choice of words. I was trying to say celebrating as far as some people wanting to go to the beach. That's what I was talking about. Not saying they didn't celebrate, so forgive me. Thank you, DJ, Miss Vicky. That's why we
people know how to be creative. They know how to be creative and work what they have. Just like when the pandemic when we went into quarantine, that's what I want to say. When we went into quarantine, people found all kind of stuff to do. It's not really as much as it was. We are low key, but it's a lot more activity right now. But I'm saying that when it was quarantine, when you really couldn't come outside unless if you was going to the store or going to work, and then they was, low key telling people they're gonna be checking and make sure that you're in the house by a certain time, all that stuff. So I'm saying during that time, people were finding things to do. I'm telling you, people were doing TikTok videos. It's all kind of people that started all kind of little videos making money, or started something that they doing online that they do from the house. So if they can do that, they can be creative with 4th of July or a holiday outside of being at a park or a beach.
You are so right. You are so right.
Matter of fact, I don't even know. I can't even remember the last time I went to the beach for the 4th. I may have only done it once in my life.
Well, you're special. I'm talking about some of the people that, when we started this mess, excuse me, because this is serious, when we started the shutdown or whatever we call it, lockdown, and they opened up the beach, and then people got back, or they wasn't opening up the beach. They was protesting over there at Huntington Beach. Remember that? That's what I'm talking about. That's all I'm saying. But, okay, thank you for clarifying. I was barely talking about celebrating.
You're welcome.
For those that want to go to, I know, that's what you're here for. God joking. Excuse me. Okay, listeners, we are live. We are live this Sunday. Last Sunday, the BET Awards was on. It was very festive. But I wish I could say that was the reason why we were live, because we weren't sure. I can't even say that. I can't even use that as an excuse. We was having technical difficulties.
What did I call your
Vicky
phone?
Called it. Ladies and gentlemen, I was having issues with my phone, and Miss Vicky said that my phone went to rehab. We had to take my phone to rehab.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Our phone needed to be rehabilitated. So we hope it don't relapse today. But, yeah.
Let's do it by the 5, so let's not speak it out because they'll get kicked.
So far, so good.
Forgive me.
Yes.
Forgive me. Let me stop saying, God don't get. Because back in the day, I would have got slapped and punished for days. I'm going to say it like I'm punished. Oh, my God, there it goes again. Man, can't talk no more. So what else happened this week? Anything else festive in our lives?
Well, I just wanted to make this point. I was told, I was asked, I believe it was my daughter I was talking to, and she asked me, I said, what are you doing for the 4th of July? Are you celebrating? She was like, that ain't our holiday. Our holiday was Juneteenth. I was like, oh, snap. I'm so used to, I do celebrate the 4th of July, but when you talk about the meaning behind it, it's almost like it doesn't include us, So we'll talk about that on another day. We need to discuss that on another day when we have our facts in front of us. But
yeah, you're right. But I gotta say this though.
There's our Freedom Day.
Yes. Okay, listen. For all of y'all that didn't do it yet and forgot, I'm not sure. I'm not giving you numbers, but I feel kind of confident that a lot of people, let's say a lot of people signed up if they didn't already have it, because I'm one of them. Disney Plus, they made some money yesterday. I'm telling you, if they ain't made money the whole week, okay? Hamilton was on Disney Plus and if you didn't have Disney Plus, they was encouraging people to get it so they can watch Hamilton. Okay, I could care less about Disney Plus, even though I'm a Mickey Mouse fan. But I best to believe. I went through a lot trying to get it on my TV yesterday, and I was one of the people watching Hamilton. It was all over Facebook. So going back to Vicky's point, Hamilton, Alexander Hamilton, it was one of the forefathers that helped to write the Declaration of Independence. And I was watching it for theatrics and the history and all that. But after I watched it, I was seeing stuff on Facebook, and somebody said they was going to celebrate 4th of July on November 3rd. I was like, oh. Because if you
they said they were going to celebrate a win?
November 3rd.
What?
Because it's all, like you said, the history behind, 4th of July and, trying to get independence and be United States of America and all those forefathers that was having that discussion and trying to get it signed and all that. Half the people in the room were slave owners. So, it didn't hit me until after I watched it all, but that's a whole other conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. So along with COVID-19 and, trying to open it up a little bit and then closing it back down a little bit, people are still dying. However, there are people that are getting it and are living. I praise God. I give God all the glory. I must do that. Me and Vicky are Christians, so, no disrespect to anyone else, but, hey, I'm going to roll it. Me and Miss Vicky are alive and well and have not been affected, so giving God all the praise. Miss Vicky, when it got tested, Dika is still self-quarantining. Y'all don't know how hard this is, but, hey, I'm doing it. Self-quarantining because I'm considered one of those people that have, what's it called? Oh, underlying, what is it, Vicky? Underlying condition or disability or whatever. So
I think that is just because you're disabled, and that puts you in a vulnerable state where your immune system may be easier for you to get, because you don't have like a pre-existing illness, but because you have a disability and your immune system is a little lower than the average, that you're considered to be vulnerable. So it's not that you have a pre-existing illness. That's not it.
However,
but anyway, you're covered with the blood. You're covered with the blood. You're fine. Nothing's wrong.
Okay. Let's go back to that pre-existing stuff you said. According to some doctors and insurance companies, they put disability under pre-existing conditions.
That's what I'm saying, but it's not like it's a but your disability is cerebral palsy, and it's not a you don't have like diabetes. You don't have you don't even have high blood pressure. They say your pressure go up every now and then, but you don't have high blood pressure. You don't have sickle cell. So those are like the pre-existing things that most people are getting and other stuff too, but that people are catching are more vulnerable even than you, is what I want to say.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Did y'all hear Ms. Vicky?
So you're fine.
Remember how I told you that sometimes Ms. Vicky just want to tell our business? Ladies and gentlemen, she just done told you what my disability was. How does she know? I want y'all to know now. I don't get it. We have no secrets. No secrets on this show. Okay. Man, everybody know. Okay. Look it up. That's another show, because I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Well, aren't we talking about taboo subjects?
Okay. I didn't know disabilities was considered taboo, but I guess.
Well, apparently it's taboo to you because you didn't want to talk about it. You didn't want to know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, we'll set up for another show. Okay. Also, as I was saying, or we're saying, along with COVID, the Black Lives Matter is still going strong. Still a social issue conversation continuing to be had. Some people are still wanting to know, but let me say, when I say some people that are not African American, that have African friends, are really, really wanting to know, why some African Americans feel so strongly about Black Lives Matter, and I'm one of them because I'm in the middle of. I may not be able to protest outside, which I'm used to doing, but I am protesting inside the house on Facebook and having festive conversations. So anyway, what we're going to talk about? Yes. What?
Wait, before you move on from that subject, I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know we're going to be talking about a few things, and hopefully I'm not jumping ahead, but I just want to mention when you talked about the protests and how the media has been airing or following the protests. But look, it seems as though they've become disinterested since it's not no drama or violence. So people are still protesting, but there are peaceful protests. I mean, don't get me wrong. Every now and then they'll put a clip up to say something about the peaceful protests, but they're not following them like they were when it was violent. So the picture that they wanted to paint, they did that. But they don't want to fix the picture now. They can fix it where people can have a different point of view by following. Somebody can be following the protest now and airing it every time the news come on, just like they was doing with all the other protesters.
Yeah, you are so right. I never thought about that, but you are so right. That is so true. It's like, the last time I seen a clip about the protesting, because I know it's going on still, the last time I think I seen a clip about them protesting in the streets and walking the streets was Juneteenth Day, and we talked about that the week before last. So they were celebrating Juneteenth. I do believe another time they brought up the protest was recently when it was controversy because the governor of California is doing press release quite a bit, and he just shut down recently, like the last couple of days, shut down the beaches and some of the bars because too many people are gathering, and that's what they're saying, that if there's too many people close together. But they didn't close down the protest. And people were complaining about that. It's like, oh, it's okay to still have protests? But it's a whole lot of people congregating, walking down the street, and they're not 6 feet apart either. And some of them not wearing masks. But they talking about it being how, we can't have protests. I mean, we can have protests, but we can't have other stuff. But anyway, yeah, you're right. Thank you. That was a very good point. Thank you, Mr. So let's continue the conversation, Black Lives Matter. We're going to talk about the whole situation where it started with George Floyd and the police and how they treated him. And this is not something new. This has been an ongoing thing. It's just that the George Floyd incident made it like enough is enough because he was murdered. One of my colleagues is African American. She keeps stressing that to me, that I need to remember to say the difference between this situation, George Floyd, and the other people that died. He was murdered on TV, and everybody saw it all around the world where he was murdered. But Eric Gardner was murdered as well. But we just to stick to George Floyd, so that's where it's like enough is enough. So we were doing some research because trust and believe that whenever we get on this show, as much as we would love to just talk off the top of our head, it's one of our favorite pastimes. We want to make sure we give you accurate information and research. So as we were researching about slave police, also known as what, Miss Vicki?
What did you? I couldn't hear. I didn't hear what you said. You said you were talking about what?
I was going to our first topic that we're going to talk about, slave.
Yeah, but what did you say?
We were doing research. I said
no. The name of it. Research. What did you say? Your name?
Oh, I said slave police, and then I said the other name.
Oh, slave patrolling. Is that it?
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we would. Yeah, it's slave patrols. It's also known as slave patrolling.
Okay, so that was quite interesting.
Slave policing. Yeah, slave policing, also known as slave patrolling. Mhm.
Yes. So we talked about it, as we talked about it in the past. We'll give a recap for our new listeners. But Ms. Vicki and I had the opportunity when we went to Cal State Long Beach, Shout out to Go Beach, Castillo Beach alumni.
Go Beach.
We were fortunate to take African American study classes. It's a whole other dynamic than Black history in high school because they barely teach it to you in high school. It seems like a thought. But
and it wasn't called African American Studies. It was called Black Studies.
What else with the major code? Oh, yeah, they changed it before I graduated. I said that because I ended up getting a minor in that, and that's what they call it, my name, minor, whatever. But anyway, so we were doing some more research. So let me tell you where we got this from. This information is called, the title is Slave Patrols, an Early Form of American Policing. I was like, wow. And so it came from Law Enforcement Monument Museum.org, 2019, 07/10/Slave Patrols, an Early Form of American Policing. Even though we talked about it in school, I didn't remember, or it didn't dawn on me until I read the title. I was like, wow, I never looked at that as an early form of policing. So there are some people talking about what's going on right now that bring up, this is historic. This goes back to slavery. And then there's some people that get, I've heard people say they're tired of some blacks bringing up slaves and Black history and always want to bring it up when something happened. But I'm sorry, at the end of the day, no sorry. I'm not going to be apologetic about nothing. The Black people shouldn't have to feel like they have to apologize. It's what it is. It's what it is. That's part of our history. And what we're going through right now plays a part in that. It's right here in the same title. Patrollers' name do swear that I will as a search. Oh, this was their little motto. Let me read this real quick. This was their little motto. I, patroller's name, whoever it is, do swear that I will as searcher for guns, swords, and other weapons among the slaves in my district, faithfully and as privately as I can, discharge the trust reposed in me as the law dictates to the best of my power. So help me God. So that's their little oath they had to say. Kind of like similar to the oath the police guys say today. And they use their little motto talking about protect and serve. I wrote a little blog about that one. I'm like, I don't think they need to be using that at the moment. But they might need to come up with a different motto because they sure ain't protected and served it today. Excuse me. Certain people, let me say that. Okay, certain people. They pick and choose who they want to serve and protect. And yes, let me say it again, I am the daughter of a former policeman. So, I'm not saying all policemen are bad, because my dad wasn't bad. But I am going to speak the truth when it comes to how they treat people. And I'm going to go there. Any other thing you want to say about, because you was really on one the last time we talked about this, about the history of policing and all that? Miss Vicky?
Is there anything I want to say about it? Well, with the slave patrolling, a lot of times they would be going and I wish I could remember. I was looking in my phone because I was trying to find the name that we were looking for before about the slaves that run away, the runaway slaves.
Oh,
so
yes.
A lot of times those slave patrols, that was what they would do. They would go and look for the slaves that was running away. So when they have a particular name, I cannot remember the name of the those slaves. They give it's a name that they gave them. The ones that run.
Okay, well let me read them. So what we just read right now is the motto that they had to take. So as this article that we're reading, you just summarize, they give us a definition what their job title was. So let's see what's in here. Number one, their job was to chase down, apprehend, and return the slaves to their owners, the runaway slaves to their owners. Number two, they was to form an organized terror to deter slave revolts. And number three, to maintain a form of discipline for slave workers who were subject to summary justice outside the law. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
To maintain a form of discipline for the slave workers. who were subject to suffrage. Okay. All righty then.
So that's when they used to beat them. Beat them into submission. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was watching. If you guys, listeners, if you haven't watched it, or if you're fortunate to have the own, what is it? Own network. Oprah Winfrey's network. Give a shout out to Oprah Winfrey. That she was able to come from where she came from, have her own show, and now she got her own, what is it? Should we call it? Her own dang television. There we go. Thank you. Okay. And she came from poor beginnings. Anyway, my point is, we're talking about police, but she had a show on there called Dark Girls 2.
Well, it's Dark Girls 1 and 2. I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. I was only able to watch 2. And it really touched home for me to the point where I didn't know if I was going to be able to continue watching. But going back to what we're talking about, slave pieces in general, their mindset, like Vicky said, they would go after, the slaves to go get them. So when I was watching Dark Girls, that's the whole documentary about females that are dark-skinned or brown-skinned or light-skinned, and they got to go through a lot with the different colors of their skin, whether it be light or caramel or dark, what they had to go through in society, what they still go through today. And I agree, it's very challenging for some people that are African-American when it comes to women, trying to get through society and how they're treated. So they were talking to a counselor, and I didn't think that she was going to bring up Black history, or our history. And she was like, how, back in the day, that when we were the slaves, how they were being treated, how they were being beaten. The therapist was like, thank you. The therapist was like, the slave masters, am I saying it right? The slave masters, they knew that they couldn't get us or beat us not beat us. They couldn't beat us up because they knew that it's a lot of us, right? It's a lot of us, and we know we could just jump them, right? So the reason why they beat us and tore us down, that was a way of affecting us mentally. Because her whole point is that even right now, today, if we take it back to slavery, that it's important that we have our mental state together. Because that's how how the slave masters got to us, through our mind, by beating us and deterring us and telling us we can't read and we can't write. So they knew if they affect our mind, then that's going to cause us to have low self-esteem. Yeah, go ahead.
And also, DJ Dika, they would chastise the strong ones, like the stronger, bigger men,
Okay.
To if they can use by making the strong ones submit, then the smaller ones would just automatically, submit, because it would affect them if they be like, oh my God, they beat him up and he's way bigger than me, so if he's scared, you know what I mean? Yeah, so they had different tactics, but yeah, they most definitely did mess them up emotionally. That's how they got them to submit. Yeah. They got to them mentally, which affected them emotionally as well because of the different things that they did, taking their wives or their women or their young girls and raping them.
And then it's still affecting us today. If you see the division between the family dynamic among Black families and all that, it's still a mental thing. Black fathers want to be able to provide for their family, but then if they can't get a job, and they got to go stand in an unemployment line and all that. That whole dynamic is still there, even though some people may disagree. So going on with the as you were talking, Ms. Vicky, it was in the article. It also said the slave patrols were no less violent in their control of African Americans. They beat and terrorized as well. Their distinction was that they were legally compelled to do so by local authorities. In this sense, it was considered a civic duty. Wow. a civic duty, one that in some areas could result in a fine if avoided. In others, patrollers receive financial compensation. Wow. Patrollers, they will receive financial compensation for their work. Typically, a slave patrol routine included enforcing curfews, checking travelers for permission, pass, catching those assembling without permission, and preventing any form of organized resistance. Wow, look at that. As historian Sally Hayden writes in her book, Slave Patrol. So, you want more information? Here's the book. Sally Hayden writes in her book, Slave Patrol's Law and Violence in Virginia and in the Carolina. That is very deep. Some people might not want to hear that or admit to that, but that definitely proves that some of the stuff that's going on right now, goes back to history. Some of them, they might not have the information we have reading to them. They might not know about the history like we read.
Yeah.
But they have that mentality. They have that, some of them have that mentality in their mindset or the way they think. And it's already like some people, let me say some people, that are not African American, European, white, Caucasian, whatever you want to call it, feel superior. Some feel superior, especially to blacks and people of color. So that whole mindset. And then I'm a policeman, and then I got to arrest you, and then you going to give me a hard time, and you're not going to submit to what I'm telling you. When I tell you, put your hands behind your back, so you're not going to do what I tell you? How dare you? What's wrong with you? So then that rage probably, this is my opinion, if they have that mindset in their heart of racism, I'll like you no way. But I got to deal with you because, people like Martin Luther King, this is me talking, Martin Luther King or Rosa Parks or anybody, Malcolm X came along and had these fought for all these laws and segregation for us to be together, and then I got to deal with you. So I might have went on a tangent, but you get the point. And I was in another conversation about Black Lives Matter, and they were talking about how to deal with the police and if we should defund them in Long Beach. And I spoke up and said, you know what? I don't have a problem with you putting in money for more training because that seems to be the big word. Let's train the policemen. Let's train them. Aren't they already being trained? My mindset is this. Okay, train them. But if they got racism in their heart, I don't care how much training you give them. You got to train their heart first.
I think it's going to make a difference. I think it's going to make a difference because you can't train somebody's heart. You can't train nobody's heart, but you can make them you can make them respect you, and you can make them follow rules. But as far as changing somebody's heart, you can't change somebody's heart. So I'm saying that, but you can train them to respect people, and you can train them to follow the boundaries, like don't cross boundaries. You can train them to do that, and you can make policies and procedures and put them in place where they will be disciplined if they do not. You can train them to, follow rules. Period. They have to maybe take tests or whatever, but you can't change their heart. Only God can do that.
Okay,
there's a lot of people that work in the same area, and they don't even like the person they working for. They don't even, if they've seen them outside of work, they don't even speak. But you best believe when they at work, they following the procedure of what that job says for them to do. And they keep boundaries and all those things. So I'm saying that you can't change nobody's heart, but you can teach them. You can train them and tell them, okay, these are the things that are in place, and you have to follow this. If not, there will be consequences. Period.
Okay. I see that. I see that perspective, but I also go back to what I feel is like, if okay, you set the boundaries and all of that, but if that racism is in their heart, they not gonna want to do their job right. They gonna be mad. Oh, I bet I gotta do that.
Well, the consequences is gonna make them do their job right. They're gonna have to bite the bullet and do what they're supposed to do. just like anybody else in any other situation. That we don't like doing stuff. We don't like people. We have to deal with people that are mean, all that type of stuff on a job. But because you want that paycheck, you're going to follow, you're going to do what you have to do, and you're going to listen to that boss, and you're going to have to deal with the environment until you change it. But at the end of the day, you still have to, when you're in Rome, you have to be like the Romans. So if they set a precedent, this is the behavior that is acceptable and nobody is going to get away with it, then that's how it's going to change, not their heart, because you can't change nobody's heart. That's like somebody's will to want to be a criminal or not, or whatever. It's like you can't change their heart. You can change their thinking or their practices, but not their heart. They can still be racist and work with you. You got people that are homophobic, but they work with alternative lifestyle. And they don't show them that they're homophobic, but they're homophobic, and it's in their heart. You can't change their heart, but you can change how they treat each other on the job. You can change how people work in a workplace if you put policies and procedures in place that are going to make them abide and follow through with what they said need to be done.
Okay, so I see that point, and I'm still strong about what I said, but I do see that point. I'm willing to see your argument. I guess I should be saying that.
And I'm not even really arguing. I'm just stating a point. I mean that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, yes, ideally we would want to change their heart. But at the end of the day, the training is what they need, and they need to change them dang policies. Because we got folk out here that's living all kind of lifestyles outside of their job. But when they go to work, you don't even know that they live the life they live when they leave their job. Because they follow rules, policies, and procedures. Because they need that income. Now, if they have their own company, then they fall up under a whole nother set of rules. You know what I'm saying? If they have their own company that they're servicing the community, they still have to follow. They can't be racist openly. It was a law just passed about the LGBT, where I didn't even know that law was there, because let me tell you, I know a lot of alternative lifestyle people that work in different organizations, and it's not just liberal, or they work in conservative places and everything. So I didn't even know that it was a law that was preventing them from working outside of the service. So anyway, somebody made sure that law was put in the bill was made, whatever, and that it was made into a law, and they voted on it and they won. So now anybody that has a business, they cannot discriminate. Maybe they can figure out a way to not hire them, find something, but they cannot show that they're discriminating. And that's because a law was put in place, and that's because that law was enforced. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yes.
So it's the same thing with the police. If people actually enforce that stuff, you know what I'm saying? If they enforce it, just like I was listening to two leaders talking, an African-American leader and a Caucasian leader. They were having a dialogue, and that's what the African-American was saying, because of the Caucasian was asking him, what should we do? What can we do to help? You know, because he was like, we trying to see what, where you guys coming from and what it is that you need. And he was saying, we just need your support wherever you can support. Make sure certain things are put in place to protect us and to, we're not looking for no extra favors, but we want to be treated just like everybody else. So that's all I wanted to say about that, because we have other things we're supposed to be talking about. But, yeah, they put some laws in place and enforce them. Them suckers will stop doing that. You see a lot of them resign. They got a lot of officers and resign.
Because they know they can't get away with that no more. Okay.
And some of them weren't in the limelight. The ones, some of them that quit and resigned, they weren't even in the limelight. They didn't even have a case. that they were facing, but they were like, I am not going to do this. I'm getting out of here, because they don't want to follow the rules and regs. So I'm just saying, yeah, back up. You remove yourself and let the right ones come and work, because there's a whole lot of people that can replace them, for real. I am not tripping if they quit their job.
I'm willing to see that perspective. And I'll still stand where I stand. Maybe I should change my wording and say that I understand you're right, that you can't change a person's heart. A person can't do it. They got to want to do it themselves. That's what I'm trying to get to. Because that leaves room, in my opinion, when that is not dealt with and their heart is the way it is, working, and that, I think that leads to what we go through right now. Because they walking around doing their job, and they might be racist all outdoors, but when they come to work, they gotta hide it. They gotta pretend like they like us. And then when they go out there in the street,
but they not hiding it. These folks ain't hiding it. But these folks are not hiding it. So I don't know who you talking about. These people are not hiding it. They're openly being racist. They're openly attacking people. Shoot.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about, listen, I'm talking about them same folks that we talking about right now that killed George Floyd. One of people, they killed a lot of folks. The different scenarios. So they could have been one of the policemen. Oh, I got to work. Oh, what's up? Yeah, hey, it was cool the other day. I'm glad we got together. Okay. Then when they go out in the street, and then they got to deal with African Americans, and then the African American, according to them, is not listening, because I hear that all the time. They're restrained. What is the word? They're resisting. And then it seemed like that mess just come out full blown, because there was no reason why he had to put his dang knee on that man's neck.
But to be honest with you, I get what you're saying, and I agree that their heart needs to be changed. But believe me, the laws is very important for all that stuff to come about.
Yes, I'm not denying that.
Maybe they'll, with them being, with their heart changing, maybe because they just have to give up. But a lot of them folk been like that from birth. They was raised that way, and they gonna die that way. You know what I'm saying? Only thing you can force somebody to do is to, to be born.
Can I say it, please?
To die. And it's one more. It's three of them.
To be black. All I gotta do is be black.
But that's us. But I'm talking about anybody. You can't force a person's heart to change. You know what I'm saying? You can force them to be born, because they don't have no control over it. Somebody just want to have a baby, and they have to be born, and then they have to die. You know what I'm saying? So those two things, I know it's something else too. But yeah,
all I gotta do is be according for black folks, right? And trust me, we just having a conversation. We love everybody, okay? Purple, green, or whatever. But right now, this is a hot topic.
Not purple, green.
What's wrong with purple, green?
Because ain't nobody walking around here purple nor green. If they purple, something wrong with them. If they purple, they might be getting ready to. Usually that's a sign of you losing a limb or something.
Oh my
something
God.
Ain't right.
Shut the heck up.
Or they trying to dress up like Halloween all year round or something.
I'm trying to be sarcastic there. We talk about other races, but right now I can't say purple green no more, because now Vicky gonna make me think about before I say purple green.
No, because you know why? It almost sounds kind of offensive. You know what I'm saying? Because we already trying to get people. We trying to get people to hear what we're saying about black people and what we go through. And instead of us saying Hispanic, Asian, Korean, we're going to say green, purple, and all that. That don't sound respectful when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Especially the position that we're taking. If we're going to take this position, then we need to say the right thing. If we're going to say anything else, maybe brown, but not purple, green.
Okay, yes.
That's like, that don't nobody want to walk around looking green or purple.
You so
maybe brown, black, white.
So if you
that's okay to say.
If you look at, I don't know, because some people have a problem with that. Okay, literally.
No, because I hear white people say it themselves.
Say what? Say what?
They say white.
Yeah. So, yes, literally, because I'll be talking to a figure of speech, but I'm like talking about other nationalities no matter what. But, yeah, now that Vicky brought that to my attention, I guess I won't be saying that no more. Okay, God, you know.
Well, I mean,
if
you say it, just say it. If you say it, you don't have to feel like you're in bondage or act like you're in bondage to talk, because we want to be free to speak, respectfully. But that's the thing. We want the message to get across correctly. We don't want people to think that, because I've heard, because that's been done like over the years. You know what I'm saying? That's been done over the years, and some people still be doing it. I be hearing people on radio stations doing it. I'll be like, they are so wrong saying that. But I used to say it too, even probably this year. But I'm saying that it seemed like I'm becoming aware of it, though, since this is going on.
And I think this whole dynamic of Black Lives Matter has really, really opened up the door for us to have meaningful, fruitful conversations that need to be had. I mean, we've been saying it all along for the last 400 years that these conversations need to take place. But now I feel like because this has happened, it's really opening up the door for it to really start happening more so than before. So as we continue this conversation, systematic racism, that's what it is, that's been being talked about. We're tunnel vision. Me and Vicky, this very show, the last 45 minutes, we've been having a fruitful conversation, having differences of opinions, and we still love each other, okay? So when we get finished, we're going to be like cracking jokes and all, like we never had this conversation. If the world was like that, we'd be in a better place. So with that being said, we were continuing to do our research about systematic racism, and we came across an article where there's some people, believe it or not, I'm being serious but funny, that say it don't exist. Do you believe that?
Mm-hmm.
Some people can say, really believe they don't exist, and they're able to justify it. So, Larry Kudlow, I might be saying his name wrong, but he is one of Donald Trump's advisors. Larry Kudlow, President Donald Trump's top economic advisor, was being interviewed like around June 15 during that week or whatever. Don't quote me on the day, but he was being interviewed, and the reporter asked him, do you believe that systematic racism exists in the United States? And then he was like, no. And then the reporter went a little bit more detail. He said, do you believe that systematic racism exists among African Americans? And he was like, I'm going to tell you what I just told you a few seconds ago. No. So, he doesn't believe it exists. And we're getting this article from the Business Insider. Larry Kudlow argues systematic racism doesn't exist because Barack Obama, no, he didn't bring in Barack Obama. Barack Obama won 79 million white votes in his 2 presidential runs. So according to this economic advisor, to Donald Trump, he feels it doesn't exist because we were able to have an African-American president. And he says 79 million white votes helped President Obama become president. I don't know if I even want to talk about that anymore.
And that's his excuse. That's his excuse that he's not gonna give us no more information outside of that. That's his excuse for saying that it doesn't exist.
No, that's just the title.
Wow.
That's a title. But I felt that was I don't need to read no more because it was like I'm wasting my time reading the rest of it.
But I'm saying he's saying that it doesn't exist because Obama was elected president and over millions of votes came from the white population. That's not an explanation for it being not.
Okay.
Not systemic.
Okay, so let me go to another statement in the same article. So that whole paragraph is what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next paragraph was another reporter, I guess the reporter continued to ask. The CNBC asked Kulo to clarify. So they asked him to clarify his remarks he made to reporters last Wednesday when he said he doesn't believe that any systematic racism against African Americans in the United States, that it don't exist. He said, admit, a nationwide uprising against police brutality, violence, and racism against Black Americans sparked in the part of the death of George Floyd after troubling treatment by police officers. And then he said, I don't believe in systematic racism. I think the American system is the best system ever devised for mankind, for history. We are liberty, we are equality, we are fairness. We have come a long way in this country. Now I will grant you, he did admit that we have some issues. He said, now I will grant you that there are some people who may be racist. I will also grant you in the police that there are some bad apples. But my view is that folks have good hearts in this country. He continued, he said, we got President Obama. He said, here's his thought. President Obama, the first Black president, was elected twice. And then he goes into what I said. He got 79 million white votes, 79 million in 2 elections. Now, therefore, I find it hard to understand something called systematic racism. Now, can change be made? Absolutely. So he's still basing it on that because, we got an African-American president and 79 million white folks voted for him. He continues to explain that the White House and Congress are considering pushing on police reform and combating racism. Adding on the whole, we have come so far because we are an open system. So he feels that we've come a long ways because we don't have a Black president, that we don't have systematic racism. Even with all of that, that is still, that's not enough to say it don't exist. I'm so sorry. Because even when President Obama, and I'm glad that happened, he made history. When he was running the first time, when he was doing his little election, what is it called? That is election. When he had to go campaign, that's where I was like, oh, snap. All those some whites, let me say some, that was, let's say, hiding it, their racism toward Black folks. They were probably like, I could go kick it with him for a minute, but I got to go back home and be with my people. But as soon as he came out talking about he was going to run, all that mess was coming out. They was calling him every day Buddy's name. So I was like, see, that's the people that was probably hiding it or whatever. So anyway, that's where his mindset is. He believes it doesn't exist. So we feel differently, if you haven't already noticed, in our conversation. So we will continue this conversation, and we'll give you the pro side. But it won't just be me and Vicky's opinion. We're going to give you data, how somebody else came along and proved him wrong, and used this very person in their article and said it, that, this person said it don't exist, but I got proof that it do exist, and I got numbers, I got facts. See, that's how you get to people. You can talk all day long, but when you give them facts, not what's that thing that President Trump be accused of? But they got to have a fact checker. Okay, yeah. When you give them real facts and you ain't got to do no fact checking and it's real, then they tend to kind of listen to you a little bit.
DJ
with that being said, yes.
Are you keeping up with the time?
In a second, yes, I am. We're going to wrap it up in a second.
Okay, I was just checking in.
Thank you. No, believe me. I make sure I keep up with the time. Ever since you shared on the air, like that. Okay, so next week we're going to continue this conversation. And also we want to add, did you know the Merriam-Webster, they're also going to change the definition of systematic racism. I didn't even know that the dictionary could change a definition. The world we live in, I tell you. America may have its flaws. And we, little racism there, not a little, racism going on. It even go back to our forefathers. slave owners that were sitting there writing the Declaration of Independence, okay? But I wouldn't want to live nowhere else, okay? Nowhere else can you sit up here and talk about Donald Trump. Nowhere else can you have a radio show or podcast like me and Miss Vicky doing and talk as openly as we talk. All righty then. And then, I'm praying for the families that lost loved ones. I know there are many mothers out there that are afraid for their sons and daughters, but especially their sons, because they have to worry about if the police is going to kill them or attack them or anything like that. So we're keeping them in prayer. We're praying for the people, family members that might have been affected by the COVID, because I know people personally in my life that I'm around that they have lost loved ones. So we're praying for them. And then it's time for we got 2 more minutes before we go into our music time. So while I'm trying to get the music going, Miss Vicky, anything else you want to say?
Just in agreement with you, with praying for our young people. I just think as a whole, our society just needs prayer. But I believe that the prayers have already been going up, so we just got to thank and believe God that it's going to get better, that things are going to get better. We're going to learn to work together. I know some things is just not going to change, but we just hope it doesn't get worse, and that, we figure out a way to get through this, that it doesn't create more anger and more, crimes and all kind of, mishaps because of this situation. Because even us calling out the racist people, and them and their lives being changed, and their the way that they operate throughout their day and on the job or their home or whatever has to change now. So some emotions are surfacing, different emotions are surfacing, and we don't want people to be committing suicide. We don't want people to attack folk, because actually it has been a few things on the news, even though a lot of this stuff has been going on, and nowadays we have videos on our phone where we can capture a lot of this evil that's going on out there. But I just want to encourage everybody that it's going to be okay. Just, just start thinking positive, and let's try to come together instead of pointing the finger at each other, because, even we have some blacks that, they don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement because they feel like we are against each other. And, it's just people always want to look at the negative, so I'm just saying, my encouragement is just to be more positive and look for the solution. Don't become a part of the problem. Come up with a solution.
Speak that truth. Hey. All righty then. Miss Vicky, I feel, has given us our empowerment moment.
Are you ready? So because our time is getting ready to be over.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. I was just trying to let you finish. Okay? I didn't want to disturb you. Okay, here we go. Music time. Music time. Here we go.
Here we go.
It was war about a week ago. They shot my man, I was with him about a week ago. In my city, round the city, we should stop that. Keep losing, trying to win with the get back. Don't you see where that gets us? Who's cooler? There's a body, there's a shooter. There's a man without a future, now his homies out to get ya. And the cycle just continues if we only just remember that we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Yeah, we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Now get your money, get success, and live a good life. Need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Get your money, get success, and live a good life. You need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Now won't you make something, make peace, won't you make something of yourself, won't you make something of you, make peace, won't you make something of yourself, yeah. Now I revenge ain't sweet. Now when you gotta watch your back and you just can't sleep, it's a lot of other things that you just could be. A better man, better woman, better human being. Instead of building one another, we killing up all our brothers, consoling them crying mothers. They got us in front of judges, they got us in orange jumpers, cuff us and put us under. This ain't the life of none of us, we need every one of us. We stronger together, we was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Yeah, we stronger together, we was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Now get your money, get success, and live a